Three words: woman, space, and love. This is exactly what we're talking about today. We're gonna go back to the 1980s, and I promise it's going to be a vibe, okay? Our main character today is one of the first few women to ever venture into space in the 1980s, and in the process of doing so, she falls in love. She finds friends for life. She learns about herself, her relationship with her family, her loved ones, and she learns about her future. That she might be one of a very small number of people on Earth to ever say, I have been to space, but she may never be able to marry the person that she loves. Not because she doesn't want to, but because she cannot. This is exactly what we are talking about today. Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Please, if you have been thinking about grabbing a copy, please go ahead. The story is so good and I cannot wait to continue where we left off. But really, each time I go back, take notes, I just fall in love, more in love with her writing. Now, if you have not listened to part 1, I'm going to give you a really quick recap. Then you can circle back to part 1 if you want to. If you came from part 1, you already know what's up, okay? Feel free to skip forward to part 2. I will have it timestamped. Without further ado, let's go right into it right now. I want you to picture Florence Pugh. She's our main character today, and she's playing the role of Joan Goodwin. Joan is that friend in the group who is very quiet, very smart, very kind, and very career focused, except Joan actually didn't have many friends growing up until she joined NASA, okay? We are in the 1980s, and at this point, it's about 20 years after women started joining the workforce, but dare I say, a lot of men still find it very difficult to see women as their equal in the workplace. I mean, guys, we are in 2026 and I still get comments from people in real life that makes my blood boil. Like I'm a freaking vampire, don't get me wrong. I want to be a vampire, but not like this. Joan Goodwin is an astronomer, a teacher, and now a NASA astronaut because about 5 years ago, she joined NASA as an astronomer/astronaut in training. We're gonna go really deep into this part of her life in this video because this is really where her life, her dreams, her true love start. Okay, but back to the recap first. Joan is more than being super brainy. She is also very artistic. She can do portraits. She is a classically trained pianist. She would sketch or play the piano late into the night to stop herself from thinking too much. Just imagine that though. Just imagine that, how rich Joan's mind must be to pursue all of these things all at the same time, not because she's told, but because she loves doing them. However, being someone so interesting, so rich, like so many hobbies, to be honest with you, I feel like at some point in my life, I had no hobby. Like, look at Joan. She has so many things that she's passionate about. However, nobody in her life was curious about her. Nobody asked Joan about Joan. She always felt like, because nobody was curious about her, that her sister was better than her in a way. Joan's sister, Barbara, I want you to picture Madeline Klein, okay? When Barbara enters a room, it's different because when she enters a room, she commands everyone's attention. All the men looks at Barbara, not Joan. So you can probably tell they are quite the opposite in that direction. Barbara wants a man in her life and Joan is not interested in that at all. Nothing wrong with wanting a partner in your life. It's just that we will see how each of their journey will play out. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about Barbara because their relationship is very important. Barbara is 4 years younger than Joan and she has a 6 or 7 year old daughter, and Joan is very close to her daughter, Frances. Honestly, Joan and Frances' relationship is so cute, so sweet, so wholesome. I don't think I can describe it to you in this video without coming off as very weird, but please, this is another sign to go and grab the book, okay? Joan is training to be an astronaut because she wants Frances to know that she can do absolutely anything she wants. Frances does not have a father figure in her life, but it feels like she has two mother figures, Barbara and Joan. And we will see how the dynamic switches between the three girls when Barbara finds a boyfriend. Now back to Joan. Ever since joining NASA, Joan's life has changed tremendously. She's working her dream job, she has her own circle of friends, and people around her are finally asking questions about her. They are curious about her. And today, December 29, 1984. Joan just sent 5 of her friends up into space. They have always wanted it. This is why they're here, to go into space. But the outcome is not what they have all wished for. There was an explosion on the shuttle, and the debris from the explosion punctured a hole on the space shuttle. Within minutes, 2 of Joan's friends are dead, 2 of them unconscious, and only 1 of them can bring all of them home. Vanessa Ford is the only one alive on board Navigator. Joan's voice is the only thing Vanessa can hear. Vanessa, I want you to picture Zendaya. She's a very strong, very passionate character. When she enters a room, you know she's there. You know by the vibes that Vanessa has entered the room. She is that girl. She will play life by her rules. She's an aeronautical engineer, a pilot, and a NASA astronaut. All these women that we're talking about today in this video are very smart. Vanessa has that like big D energy. And imagine someone like that losing their marbles, because Vanessa is losing her marbles right now. Vanessa doesn't know how to fly the freaking space shuttle back into Earth. She was not trained for this. Both the pilot and their commander are dead. The only way home is for Vanessa to pilot this shuttle back into Earth no matter what. She is their only hope. You know, Vanessa has always wanted to fly this thing. It's why she joined NASA in the first place, but not like this. And you know what's the scariest part? When we talk about like what we want to do, we say things like, oh, tomorrow I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna do that, next week I'm gonna do that. Vanessa right now can't do that. She can't think about what she wants to do when she gets back into Earth. She can only focus on following instructions from Joan. It's not for sure that she will survive this, and she knows it. So with Vanessa up in space inside Space Shuttle Navigator, back on Earth, Joan and thousands of people in NASA and outside of NASA are watching and listening to everything. So that means some of the family members of the 2 deceased astronauts already know what happened. Now, I'm gonna give you a quick overview of who is on board Space Shuttle Navigator. A little recap, because there are a handful of characters and they are very important, because you will see how they are also connected to each other. Okay, Steve, Hank, Lydia, Griff, and Vanessa. Steve was their commander. Hank was their pilot. Lydia, Griff, and Vanessa are the mission specialists, aka scientists. They are up there to do scientist stuff, not to pilot the shuttle and not to command the crew. The way that this book is written is like Taylor Jenkins Reid is telling us the characters' disastrous outcome first, then the relationship between all of them. Because why not, Taylor Jenkins Reid? Break my heart, grab me by my heart, smash it into pieces, and then try to put some pieces back together. Why not? Steve, I want you to picture Chris Evans, okay? Steve was Vanessa's closest friend. He was like her brother. If there was one person that she would trust with her life, it would be Steve. Steve was 10 years older than Vanessa. He is married to Helena and they have 2 daughters together. Joan, back on Earth inside the mission control room, keeps seeing people turning and looking back at the theater at someone. So that means Helena is right behind Joan somewhere in the shadows, listening to everything they're saying about Navigator and about her late husband, Steve. The other crew that they lost is Hank. Picture Theo James. Out of all the butt-faces military pilots, he was the only good one. He went to Top Gun and he was so cool. He used to wear this like bomber jacket, aviator around like he's a pilot, but he also looked like a movie star. He was the pilot of Navigator, but now he is long gone. Hank was just married to their friend Donna. Picture Lily Collins. They were so in love and so happy to be in each other's orbit. In fact, they just welcomed their baby not too long ago. The other 2 crew members still alive but have hours to live are Lydia and Griff. They're both unconscious. Lydia, picture Constance Wu. She is used to being the top of her class. She doesn't care for anybody else but herself. Nobody liked being around her for a long time until Lydia finally opened up. Griff, nice guy Griff. Picture Henry Cavill. He's kind, he's caring, he's attentive, someone who would be easy to love. and he fancied Joan. So does Vanessa, and this is all too much for Joan. Joan cannot process her friend's dead, unconscious, and the person that she loves up in space right now. But Joan knows that however today ends, all of them in this very room will carry the burden or relief together, but one. Because there's only one burden that Joan will carry alone. What is that? You will see very soon. Now, with Vanessa up in space alone, the mission control room needs to decide what to advise Vanessa. The boss of the room, the flight director, needs to give the final call. Should Vanessa come back right now so the two unconscious crew can get care ASAP? We don't know how long they have. Maybe hours, maybe hour. Or should Vanessa repair what was broken of the shuttle before coming back so she doesn't freaking burn up and die during re-entry? It's like the question of would you save one person or would you save a group of people, okay? At the very end, the flight director decides it's better to try to fix the shuttle first before re-entry. And Joan tells Vanessa exactly that. But she adds at the very, very end, you and I, Vanessa, we will do this together. And that's when Vanessa replies, I'm grateful that you're the one in that chair today, Goodwin. I'm glad it's you. This is going to hit harder by the end of this video. I want you to remember this because trust me, it's just the way that this book is written, okay? But for now, those words from Vanessa is enough, good enough for now. And Joan prays to the Cosmo that please don't take Vanessa. This is what I love, what I find very fascinating about Joan. She believes in the Cosmo. She's a scientist and she prays to the Cosmo. She believes that there are beings here before her. I love that about her. Now, let's talk about the burden that only Joan would carry alone if something bad happened to the very last conscious crew on board, Vanessa. They have history together, and I'm going to tell you right now their history. Let's go back 4 years before 1984, before the disaster, before the uncertainty. We are going to stay here for a good amount of time, then we will circle back to the disaster. So these are the two timelines that we will bounce between towards. You get what I'm saying? So there's two timelines back in the day and then right now. Okay, we're gonna go back into history right now. It's late at night when Vanessa knocks on Joan's door. Joan and the rest of their astronaut in training friends are in the campus near Houston Space Center. They stay there, okay? Vanessa happens to drop off Donna, soon to be Hank's wife and mother of his child, in the campus. And as Vanessa is leaving their campus, she hears Joan playing the piano in her room. So she knocks on Joan's door. And oh my God, Vanessa is already this like bigger than life, cool, calm, collected aura. Oh my God, unlimited character. And she does this thing. I think like anything she does is just so cool. Okay. She does this thing where she leans on the door frame. And when Joan opens the door, she's like, she doesn't know what to do. The thing is, our girl Joan has never been in love before. She doesn't know what it feels like, but I don't think that you need someone to tell you what love feels like. She never had butterflies before. All she knows when she looks at Vanessa is that she admires Vanessa. Joan thinks of Vanessa as this brave, brilliant, beautiful, just creature. And this is the very start of their love story. And Joan doesn't even know it. Vanessa, though, she knows exactly what she's getting herself into. Vanessa tells Joan that you're good, but Joan brushes it off. No, I'm not that good. I'm like, I just play for fun. Vanessa counters. Are you doing the thing where you're like, oh, I'm not that good, then I have to tell you that you're great? Joan really doesn't seek attention or compliment. She's not the type. But if there's someone's attention that she would like, it might be Vanessa's. But she tells her no. She's not remarkable. She just enjoys playing the piano. Vanessa looks at her and she smiles. Okay. She tries to hide like her smile. Her smile is like loop-sided. Okay. It's like a smirk. She tries to hide it, but Joan sees it. What's so funny? Joan asks. You just have a very high standard, that's all. Anyway, Joan, listen, I need your help with something. I think you're the only one who can help me. I guess I'm asking for a favor. For the very first time, the calm, composed, cool Vanessa seems so very nervous, and Joan cannot believe it. Vanessa admits that she's embarrassed because she needs Joan to teach her how to read the stars. Girl, the sky's your map, and it might be a good idea to know your map if you're flying into it. So the following day, they meet up in Vanessa's home outside of the campus. Of course, she doesn't stay with everyone else, right? The plan is to drive to a specific spot to go look at the night sky. Joan already know where they're going. She got her telescope with her. This is like a date. It's like an official date, right? Joan got this really cute dress on. She got a jeans jacket on. She arrives a minute before 6, but she waits for 2 minutes before knocking on Vanessa's door. Joan knows that Vanessa thinks of her as this perfect, smart girl who would never offend anybody. Joan maybe just wants to show that I'm not so perfect, so she was 2 minutes late. Okay, but all of that is out the window when Vanessa opens the door. Oh, she looks so carefree again. Like, are you not anxious that being in presence of you? Like, hello? She doesn't even need to wear a dress or a jacket to look cool. She got long sleeve on with long jeans, her sleeves rolled up. And Joan's like, oh my God, wait, did I overdress? Vanessa opens her mouth and tells her that they will drive her car, and she made sandwiches. By the way, she's a really good cook. She also bought some sodas and some fun adult drinks, and that she wants Joan to know that she appreciates Joan taking the time to teach her about the stars. Guys, if somebody likes you, cares for you, they're going to find a way to show you just how much they care and appreciate you. This is your sign to not send that text. So then Vanessa goes, and she gets her car out the garage, and oh my goodness, this girl could not get any cooler. She drives a cream convertible with red interior. It's giving vintage. Well, for us it's vintage, but let's just say it's vintage, okay? It's giving vintage Mercedes. It's giving taste. It's giving she can drive manual. Even Joan, who doesn't know a thing about car, is impressed because, oh my God, why do you go so well with your car? With that, they start driving off to Joan's spot. From time to time, Joan would turn around and she would look at Vanessa and to think to herself, oh my God, look at this woman. I'm as straight as a circle. I'm just kidding. This is really giving first date anxiety, excitement, happiness, all of that. It's not official that is first date, but the vibe would categorize it as one. Vanessa, she looks at Vanessa. Vanessa is just like letting her curly hair dance in the wind while Joan is trying so hard to hold her hair in place. Like if you gave her a jar of glue, she would pour it on her head just so her hair stays in place. But Joan relaxes when they get to talking. Joan tells Vanessa that she used to bring Frances, her niece, to this very spot whenever Frances could not sleep. They would talk about the stars, and maybe it's because of this that Frances also wants to be an astronaut. Their relationship, again, is very cute, very wholesome. It's one of the many things I love about this book. Okay, then like a datey conversation, a little bit like a sweet small talk, Vanessa asks Joan, what's the one bad thing that she had done in her entire life? Basically nothing, okay? She stole cards from a store, but she felt so bad that she returned it almost immediately. She let other kids cheat off her tests by peeking off her test, but she got tired of it one day and told them, you need to study on your own. If you have listened to point 1, this is very telling of Joan's character. She's a little bit of a pushover, but she's just like such a genuine soul. Vanessa pushes. She's like, no, you need to tell me the ugliest part of your soul, the one thing that you are most ashamed of. Joan takes a moment, then she tells Vanessa that when she was younger, she ratted her sister out to her parents when her sister sneaked out to see some boy. Then Joan's sister, Barbara, was grounded for months after that. Joan did that because Barbara got pregnant and then miscarried earlier. She didn't want her sister to go through the whole thing again. The next day, when Barbara complained to Joan about being grounded, Joan just pretended to not know anything about it. Vanessa hears that and she asks Joan, why didn't she just tell Barbara the truth? Now, I want you to think of someone who has no filter, who feels they'll feel a lot. When they're happy, you can see see the happiness from their laughter. And that applies to every other emotions. Not to say they have a certain condition or problem. It's a good thing, and it can also be a bad thing, because in a way you never know when they're going to flip. The tension is always in the room when you all hang out. That is Barbara, okay? I want you to remember this, because Barbara is going to come in later. If you have listened to part 1, you know that Barbara in a way feels like she's being held back from life. She had this huge dream of becoming a dancer, a skater when she was younger, but then she had Francis and her life just stopped. Joan feels like she can never be honest with Barbara, and she hates herself for it. But Joan being Joan, she always redirects the topic away from herself after years of people not being interested in her. So she asks Vanessa the same thing. Vanessa's like, okay, hold on, let me think. Actually, no, I don't need to think. Yeah, I stole money from the vending machines. I hotwired a car for a friend. I drank too much and I slept around. Joan snaps her head to look at Vanessa. Joan's not judging her. She's just like shocked. Like, why are you so blunt about this? But Vanessa continues. I smoked the devil's lettuce and California sunshine, Lucy in the sky with diamonds, you know, and the horse. Vanessa this time turns around to look at Joan, and Joan gulps. Even Vanessa's bad things are cooler than hers. Joan just ratted her sister out when they were younger, and she still feels bad about it until this day. So Joan begs Vanessa to just forget about her story. She says, please, don't read too much into my story. Please don't think that I cannot be trusted, or I ruin people's fun, or that I'm a coward. I'm not a coward. You know, I just try to do the right things, but I seem to always get it wrong. I don't know. I don't even know why I told you the story in the first place. You're right, Vanessa. I'm a prude, and I'm always early, and I'm everything that you think I am. Joan, I don't think of you any differently than I did when you got in the car. You are what you are, and I like what you are. Nobody is going to be one thing forever. Maybe you are a goody two-shoe up until now. The night is still young, and you are out with a bad girl. What? Yo, this is rich. Somebody put this in the dictionary. I'm so shy right now. And so they arrive at the spot, and all they see are hundreds of stars above them. Comment down below if you've ever been to a place like that. I have, and I saw in Kundasang Sama. It was so beautiful. And that was the very first time that I saw a shooting star. Okay, tell me if you have. And Joan sets up everything, and she starts showing and teaching Vanessa about the stars, how to read the stars. I'm pretty sure we have all done this, where we try to make shape out of the stars, out of clouds. Maybe it's a person standing, laughing, kissing, dancing. For the stars, the constellation, there's a lot of connection to Greek mythology, like Hercules, because certain constellation look like someone is holding a club. Hercules holds a club. Vanessa thinks that the whole Greek reference is a little bit childish, but Joan disagrees. She tells her that this is why she fell in love with astronomy in the first place, because to look up is to understand how people understood the world before us. To look up is also to know that you are not alone. Joan tells Vanessa this. The stars are us. Every atom in our bodies was one out there, was once a part of them. To look up is to look at parts of who you once were and who you may one day be. Joan thinks to herself, okay, that makes me sound lonely. To think of the stars as her companion, as her ancestor. So she tells Vanessa, oh, okay, I know it sounds stupid, I know. Vanessa doesn't think it's stupid. In fact, she loves hearing Joan talking about it, because Joan has a purpose in why she's in NASA in the first place, okay? Joan wants to go into space because she's passionate about the stars. She wants Francis to know that she can also do anything she wants. Whereas Vanessa wants to go into space because she's a pilot. But the thing is, she cannot even fly the thing because she's not trained as a military pilot before this. She has repeatedly told the higher ups that she wants to fly the space shuttle, but they told her no. Maybe she was naive to believe that it would be up for discussion at some point, but women were never allowed to join the military as pilots. And now they will only allow military pilots to fly the thing. So that means Vanessa never stood a chance in the first place. Although they have excused certain college degree requirements for certain members of the military, NASA insists that they absolutely cannot bend the rules or change the rules as to who can and cannot fly the space shuttle. Then Vanessa tells Joan that her dad was a military pilot. He flew in the Korean War. Vanessa looks up at the sky and she opens up to Joan. I think most of my life I've been drawn to and terrified of the idea of being just like my dad. He died flying. My mother remarried about a year after and her new husband was fine. Our new family was fine, but hard to compete with a war hero, you know? But sometimes I don't know if I knew my dad or I just created a man out thin air as a god to pray to. The moment is not tense. Okay, they open up the cooler, they grab a drink, they pull up some sandwiches. You know the feeling when you feel safe with someone? Even the heaviest topic doesn't feel the heaviest. You feel like free. That's what's happening right now. Everything that I'm about to tell you right now is Vanessa's composition as this stoic, have it all together, super charming and smart character. Vanessa continues. You remember I told you about bravery versus courage? I always thought that my dad was really courageous. He must have been courageous. He must have been kind and quiet too, based off what I've heard from our family. And he died doing something very few people could do. He gave up his life to serve his country. But you know, I hope he felt conflicted about everything. I hope that he knew people were waiting for him to come back. I think he flew that day in that jet with a sense of duty. So in that way, I hope that he was okay with how he went. Why is this so deep? Joan reaches out and touches Vanessa's shoulder, to comfort her. She didn't know why she did it, but Vanessa is surprised. She's surprised, and Joan quickly pulls her hand away and she tries to continue the conversation, right? She asks how old was her dad when he passed. Vanessa tells her 38. That's very young. And Vanessa's dad was the reason that Vanessa wants to be a pilot, she tells her. He is also the reason for many things in Vanessa's life, like lashing out at her mother, dropping out of school, hanging out with bad people, because Vanessa just wanted to lose herself. She wanted to feel anything but sad. Did it work? Joan asks. Yes. And that's the problem, if you find a way to make yourself absolutely terrified, there's no room for any other feeling. Joan nods and says, that makes sense. You put yourself in a very terrifying position and each time you become braver. But until what point? How did you stop? I don't know. Maybe when I started flying. I started flying because of my uncle. He basically raised me. My mother would always call him when we get into a fight and he would come over and ask if I would like to go flying. It was when I turned 17 that he pushed me to fly alone. And I did. At first, when I was up there, I thought that I had just found something so dangerous that was more fun than stealing or doing the nasties. Joan blushes, looks at her hands. But Vanessa continues. But that was not it. When I was up there, I felt peace, being up and above, looking at everything below me. And then the horizon in front of me, I felt peace. In this very program, besides Steve, Joan is the only one who knows this much about Vanessa. Sometime later, as an astronaut in training, Joan and all her friends are required to go do astronaut things like, they do a lot of traveling, getting on the planes, visiting space centers, talking to people, telling people what they're about to do, where they're about to go. And Joan just hopes that one day these people would be proud enough to tell other people that I have met her. After she had gone to space and come back, it would be very cool. And Joan did feel very cool even now, okay? Although people look a little bit tense, their smile a little bit too stiff, but she felt really cool until she's told to get inside this airplane. It's called the Vomit Comet. It's really designed to make you vomit. It's a refueling airplane, but in NASA, it's used to make you vomit. Okay, you know, like when you are up in the air, when you are inside the airplane, there's turbulence sometimes. The plane goes up and down, up and down, up and down. And for a split second, your butt is off the seat of your chair and you get those like butterflies in your stomach, but you are not falling in love. If anything, you are anxious. Just imagine that feeling, but your butt is in the air for about a minute. You float up, you free fall down, then up again, down again, up again, down again. If this is done perfectly by the pilot of the plane, it will stimulate microgravity or zero gravity. And as humans, we are so used to gravity pulling us down that microgravity or zero gravity makes a lot of us puke at first, Joan included. Now, let's go back to the characters of this book. We got Joan as our main girl, right? Two of her friends are also here, Lydia and Hank. Lydia is still the top dog of her class, okay? The teacher's favorite because she's so smart and you cannot even deny it. Like, she picks things up so quick, but she will throw you under the bus like first chance she gets in front of the teacher. She wants training to end right now and be assigned the second after to go into space immediately. If you told her we're going to space at 6 o'clock, she would be like, yeah, let's go. Hank, you remember, right? Cool guy, aviator glasses, Top Gun, Theo James Hank. Lydia and Hank will unfortunately also be a navigator about 4 years from now, and you already know that Hank is not going to survive, but we will follow their journey and Taylor Jenkins Reid will break our heart. Now, let's go back to the plane ride. All three of them are inside the plane along with another one guy and one Buttface. I'm just gonna call him Buttface, Mr. Buttface. He sees Joan's face getting pale because yes, she's getting a little sick from this motion. And then Lydia looks at Joan and then looks at the guy and then she tells the group, maybe we should land because Joan looks like she's going to turn into a piece of A4 paper inside an astronaut suit. All Joan wants is for everyone to shut the hell up. Just let me get my poop together. So she tells Lydia that she's fine. But Mr. Buttface tells Joan, oh yeah, she'll have to be a big girl. You know what they say, karma hits you like a bus. But this time, Mr. Buttface is inside the bus and it's in the air and we are not in Harry Potter's world. As soon as the plane goes up, the pilot starts doing the vomit thing. Mr. Buttface starts blinking fast, his eyes wide, his breathing shallow. He's just as scared as Joan. Damn it! The only way for Joan to cope is to think that she's in the ocean with Francis. It's working all right. But here's the thing about Joan. She may be a people pleaser, but she has no problem showing or admitting that she is scared. Men like Mr. Buttface probably has been told since young that feeling scared or failing in life or trying to get something in life, wanting something in life, or being kind to people, being open to people, being sincere to everyone made him weak. So people like him hide behind a mask and they make fun of people when the other people look weak. To hide behind a facade, that's not the way to go because Joan knows that being soft, flexible is way more durable than being hard and brittle. And I will quote the incredible Taylor Jenkins Reid. Admitting that you were afraid always took more guts than pretending you weren't. Being willing to make a mistake got you further than never trying. The world had decided to be failable was weak, but we are all failable. The strong ones are the ones who accept it. And Joan knew the rules were set by people like Mr. Buttface, who hides behind a mask. Lydia is laughing at their jokes, going along with their disgusting jokes because Lydia is trying to be like them. But those rules were false in the first place because everyone is scared. Bravery, Joan suspected, is always a lie. Courage is all we have. And then Joan Puking, girl. In the introduction of this book, let me just tell you, Taylor Jenkins Reid said what inspired her to write this book was going out at night with her daughters to look up at the sky. And I feel like there's so many messages in this book that are meant for the kids in us. Does it make sense? Like the part that is good, where like the part that needs to come out more. I feel like when you become an adult, life is just like one thing after the other. You got no time to just appreciate the kid in us, like the good in us, the kind part of us, you know, especially when we are feeling very carried away from our everyday life or feeling very lost in life. And I love this book because of it. But I still hate people like Mr. Buttface, okay? And now, you know what? Let's talk about Hank. Hank, Joan, and everyone are now at a party. So after vomit party, they're going to a proper party, okay? It's the last day of the year and they're partying it up. Hank, let me tell you, to be a NASA astronaut, you have to have at least 1,000 hours in high performance jet aircraft. It's not like just an airplane. We're talking jet aircrafts. Since Joan cannot fly jets, to get the hours in, she has to fly with someone. And she has been flying with nice guy Hank. During one of their flights, she learned that Hank comes from money. I'm not talking like, oh, he's rich. No, I'm talking about trust fund money. Hank doesn't need to do this. Like, he doesn't need to risk his life to go into space. It's dangerous. His family is so rich that they always found a way to keep their family safe. This is a glimpse into why Donna loves Hank. Hank wants to do this because this is not something his family has done before. But he's not in the group like, look at me, I'm rich, I'm smart, I'm better than everyone. Hank doesn't act like that. Hank doesn't act like he's smarter than everyone else. He hates it when people act like all they do here is easy when it's not. Why pretend like it's easy? Because everything that they do right now is so hard and all of them are trying. He likes Joan because Joan shows how much she's trying, especially when she tried not to vomit on the plane. It's sweet, but Joan's like, this brother thinks he's better than me. But she lets it go because it might be true in some ways, which is normal. Then Hank reaches for his pocket and he pulls out an aviator glasses for Joan. This is Joan's first pair of aviator. He's like, pilot to pilot? You've gotta look the part. So Joan puts it on. The pilot look, she clenches her jaw and he's like, yes. He's like cheering her on and that's how you do it. I love it. I love Hank, but Hank walks away and Lydia comes up behind Joan. Do you think that Hank's gonna get a sign before us? Joan's ear is hearing Lydia's words, but her eyes, her mind, her heart are all ahead of her. They are with Vanessa. She catches Vanessa's eyes. Vanessa looks at her. Vanessa smiles. Y'all, if she a friend to you, you smile back. If she ain't a friend to ya, more than that, you got a crush maybe. You quickly look away. And Joan looks away. Joan's like, oh my God. Is this world stupid? I'm just kidding. Are you guys blind? Like, do you not see how beautiful that creature is? Like, are you not shy? I'm shy. Are you listening to me? Lydia breaks Joan's attention. Joan's like, I hear you. Damn it, girl. Do you really want to talk about work right now? Do you really want to talk about NASA right now in this freaking party right now? Lydia is that colleague who would ask you a work question at 11:59 on the very last day of the year. Joan's like, can we just talk tomorrow, please? But Lydia gets angry. Lydia's like, why not now? You really think that you can let loose right now? You know that NASA's always watching, right? If you lose focus on the goal right now, if you drink, if you get wasted, NASA's going to hear about it tomorrow and you are not going to be on the priority to go into space soon, which is the reason why we're here. Hello, especially we as women. They're going to send us one at a time, not a bunch of us at first, because we are still a novelty to NASA. Lydia is not just saying any BS. Lydia is basically telling Joan that she's not focused on the politics of actually becoming an astronaut. Like, Joan is doing very well. She's trying really hard at everything, training, all of that, but just not the politics of everything. And that, again, Lydia will undercut her in any way. Okay, Joan, Vanessa, Donna, doesn't matter. Lydia is reminding her that I will undercut you to get assigned first to go into space soon. Joan is like, okay girl, I don't need a reminder, but looking at you right now, hearing all of these words, can I even trust you to save my life in space if something happened, if we were there together? Because sounds like you are really trying to undercut me in every way. But Joan asks, Lydia, come on, you know that you are not just an astronaut, right? This is not just all there is to you. You have hobbies, right? Friends, family. Lydia tells Joan that no, I have no hobbies, I have no friends. My parents prefer my sister-in-law, and my dad still hangs out with my ex-husband. Okay, Lydia, why not have a beer with me? Take a load off for 14 minutes. Try to calm down for 14 minutes, and then after the clock strikes midnight, you can go right back to shoving coal up your butt and pulling out diamonds, okay? Joan low-key likes this part of her. I think being around Vanessa is making her more fun. I love it, more edgy, okay? Although Lydia just stared at her like, that was not funny. Fast forward to sometime later during the launch of STS-1, the first space shuttle in the history of spacecraft, designed to be reusable, designed to be able to land like an airplane on Earth. This is as monumental as the first full electric car going into space and coming back. I know we don't have that yet. Or like the first submarine to ever fly into space and then come back. Guys, all I'm trying to say is that this is very monumental. Joan, Vanessa, and the whole gang are just standing there. They are watching this beautiful creation of the only sentient being known to Earth. She is like, oh my god, look at that thing. Look at that spacecraft. That's so hot. Look at that nose of that spacecraft. The twins solid rockets on its side. So PHAT. Fat. They are all training to ride one of these one day. Both Joan and Vanessa are nervous, and Griff happens to walk past them too. And out of the two of them, he specifically asks Joan if she wants to grab breakfast after. Joan's like, oh yeah, why not? Okay. Joan agrees, and Vanessa looks at her and she tells Joan that Griff has a thing for her. Joan disagrees, like, why can't Joan just be friends with a guy? Vanessa says, Joan, I think you just don't understand when someone is giving you the signals that they're interested. You know what, Vanessa? I think you're wrong, and I think that you are nervous about the launch and it's making you edgy, so you should shake it out like this. Vanessa tells Joan that she looks redunculous. No, I don't. You're just too cool to do this. Wait, you think I'm cool? What? Now you're pretending that you don't try to act cool. No, I mean, I just didn't know that you thought I was cool. Stop it, Vanessa. Stop fishing for compliments. And Vanessa does that smile again, smirk, and then they all hear the countdown. T-minus 1 minute. T-minus 20 seconds. 7, 6, 5. Joan grabs Vanessa's hand. She didn't know why she did it, but she just did it. And Vanessa squeezes her hand tightly in return, as if both their hands had been searching for each other just the same. And then all they hear and see is
main engine start. We have main engine start. America's first space shuttle. And the shuttle has cleared the tower.
Joan watches the shuttle gets smaller and smaller. She realizes that she's still holding on to Vanessa's hand, so she quickly lets go, apologizes, and Vanessa says nothing. Now, let's not forget about our guy Griff, okay? Our guy Griff is a good guy, and he's crushing so hard on Joan right now. That weekend, Griff asks Joan out for dinner in front of Vanessa. Vanessa's like, she got no qualms about it, because it's like, we are not even together, do what you want sort of thing. But it's very obvious that it's a love triangle to everyone but Joan, because she tries to invite Vanessa to their dinner. Vanessa is like, wait, what? I don't want to be third wheel. I don't want to do that. Joan counters, it's not a date. And hearing you calling it a date will make me nervous, because now I think he thinks that this is a date. You are doing this on purpose. Vanessa looks at her and she's like, wait, is this our first fight right now? Are you angry at me right now? Of course not. Joe, Griff does have a crush on you. It's obvious to everyone. And look at you. Why wouldn't he have a crush on you? You are smart and gorgeous and about 10 other things. So are you, Vanessa. Does he have a crush on you? Joan, come on. And Vanessa has to apologize for calling their dinner a date because Joan's really getting frustrated. I don't know why, but this is so cute, okay? They go to Joan's room and Vanessa is just hanging out around and she tells Joan that Lydia is being sent away for training. Remember what happened in December 1984? The reason why they went into space in the first place was because they are told to release a satellite for the US Navy. To release a satellite into place, they need someone to control the robotic arms to release or push the satellite out into space. Now, to do that, someone needs to control the robotic arms. Someone needs to learn how to do that. Lydia right now is being sent away to learn how to control the robotic arms in space. And this is very important for a mission specialist on board to know how to use these things. So that means Lydia, among everyone right now, just got the guarantee that she's going into space soon because none of them right now knows who is getting assigned first or at all besides Lydia. Back to the past. Vanessa is pissed because Lydia rubbed it in her face. Vanessa says like Lydia pretended that she hated to break it to me that she's the first of us to get sent away for it. I truly cannot stand her. Joan tries to tell Vanessa that it's in a way expected because Lydia's performance and that she's the teacher's favorite, but really she's not a bad person. Joe, if I caught on fire, Joan, if I caught on fire in front of Lydia, she would consider whether she could use me to warm her hands before putting the flames out. Joan's like, that's true. By the way, what time is it? Joan looks at her watch. It's a little after 5. She's going on a date soon with Griff. Vanessa looks at her and she asks, blow off Griff and come get a beer with me. Why don't you just join us, Vanessa? Because I just want to have a beer with you. I mean, you could just leave a note on his door saying that you need a rain check. And Joan doesn't think too much about it. She does it. And Vanessa drives them in her cream convertible to a bar outside of the city. It's not like a speakeasy. It's not romantic. It's noisy. People are listening to music. The tables are sticky. That's the vibe. But it's also like at the same time very romantic, okay? They go a few hours and a lot of drinks and Joan starts telling Vanessa about the boy that she had kissed and dated before. Joan tells her that she never liked him, never slept with him. She wouldn't even consider him as a boyfriend. Vanessa asks, so you're telling me that you went on dates, you kissed the guy, but he was not your boyfriend? No, he was not my boyfriend. I think of a boyfriend as someone you love. I never loved him. I would know if I had fallen in love, you know? Joe, have you ever fallen in love? No. Maybe just not my thing. Falling in love and getting married. Vanessa cocks her head, chucks her beer, and she says, Joan, so you're telling me that there's this nice, handsome guy and your family liked him and he asked if you could see yourself marrying him and you said no. Say a different boy had asked, would you still say no? Do you guys see where Vanessa's going with this? Joan is like, oh, what? What sort of abstract brain advanced calculus is this? Joan says, yeah, I think so. I would still say no. Vanessa thinks that's impressive. I think part because maybe Vanessa has an inkling that Joan is not attracted to men. But she doesn't tell Joan that. I mean, it's weird. You can't just go up to someone and be like, I think you're gay. Not to say, again, if you're not gay, you are not impressive. But you get what I'm saying, right? It's just, okay. The main thing that Vanessa is impressed by is that Joan could have chosen the easy life, get married, have kids, live happily ever after with her family rather than risking her life to go into space. But all of this is an insult to Joan because she knows that life is not easy for anybody. And to assume that she would fit in the life of being a wife or a mother is just outrageous because she never fit in. That was never the life that she pictured for herself. Vanessa keeps staring at Joan's face. Then she pulls back and she puts her arm on the back of her chair. She sits lazily on the chair with her knees apart. Okay, Joan could never imagine herself sitting like that. Only Vanessa can pull it off. Vanessa says, Joe, you know, sometimes I think you and I are having one conversation and then I realize we have been having an entirely different one the whole time. You know that? I admire you, Joan. Your commitment to the world around you, how much you care. You are so thoughtful about everything. I know why I'm not assigned first, but I don't know why it's not you. Vanessa, I think sometimes I'm just not as great as you think I am. Vanessa smiles again and she tells her, No, Joe, don't do that. Don't kill my dream, Joe. Let me think that you are the best astronaut in my class. Let me think that right now. Let me think that the wrong woman won. Let that be the world that I see tonight, where I know that I'm mortal, but I'm not sure that you are not a god. Can you do that for me? And Joan says yes. Honestly, why is that so romantic? Oh, has anyone said that to you? Like, I know that I'm mortal, but I'm not sure why you are not God. Oh my God. Taylor Jenkins Reid, like, where did you get that? Where? What's your inspiration? On a night out with everyone in New Orleans. So these astronauts in training, again, they are traveling a lot and they just so happen to be passing by New Orleans. They were like, you know what? Let's stay here one night. They check in at a hotel and remember Donna, remember Lily Collins, gorgeous hair. She was an ER doctor before becoming an astronaut. She's Miss Beautiful Scientist, okay? They are all drop dead gorgeous. Anyway, Donna is like, let's have a girls' night. Like, let's go shopping, dress up, have some fun with the boys. Joan doesn't want to do that. She never had nights like this before this. She never had girlfriends to do this with. But Vanessa is like, no, we have to go because Donna does not mix well with Lydia. You already know that. Without us, it's just going to be the two of them and she's not going to be happy. So Joan goes to see Donna for shopping first. They're like in the changing room and Donna just giving her clothes to try on. One of the clothes is a blue floral dress. Joan puts it on and she looks in the mirror and she is like shocked at how good she looks. Donna is at the door like, come out now. Show me right now. Come out and show me. Like, Donna is that friend, like, standing guard at your changing room, like, waiting for you to come out. And the first thing that she tells Joan when she sees Joan in that dress is, Jesus jumped up Christ. I don't even know what that means, but she tells Joan that you look so good. Your boobies look so good. Like, why did you hide them all this time, girl? And Donna keeps dragging Joan towards the cashier, saying like, you have to buy this. You're going to buy this and we're going to wear our new clothes out tonight. If you don't buy it, I'm going to buy it for you. It's a threat, okay? And that's when Lydia and Vanessa see Joan. Lydia tells Joan that she looks really pretty. A compliment from someone as icy as Lydia? Even Donna's shocked. But Vanessa makes Joan blush so hard and she tries to cover her shoulders to hide the blush like this. Are you serious? This is not gonna help. Vanessa shakes her head and she smiles and she looks at Joan and she says, you look good. Joan and Donna, Joan and Donna both end up buying their new clothes, wearing it that night. But the thing is, it's hot, okay? You try on a nice dress, then you walk out of the mall and your upper lip starts sweating like, oh my God, why are you doing that right now? Stop. And so they head into a bar and everyone, including Hank, like they see Joan and they all start buying her drink. She has never had this much attention from the men before. Griff, our guy, doesn't just buy her a drink. He bought her flowers. Why I'm laughing is because Joan sees the flower, him, and she laughs in his face. But Griff is by her side when she suddenly burps out, you know, astronauts should not fall in love with each other. Joan is thinking about that right now because she's looking at Donna and Donna's dating Hank. What? Griff asks. You know, we all have bizarre priorities and let's be honest, probably God complexes. There should only be one astronaut in the relationship. Our partner has to make up for all the things that we lack. It's a bad idea to fall in love with one of us, though. If you are one of us, I have been thinking about this a lot. Griff begs to differ because only astronaut can put up with astronauts' BS and worries, like why they can't be home for Christmas, why they are risking their lives at all. Only astronauts can really understand this. Joan doesn't say anything because in a way it's true. She cannot imagine missing Christmas with Francis. But she tells Griff it doesn't matter because she has never fallen in love and she probably will never because she doesn't believe in love. Until, speak of the devil, a few hours later, because everyone decides to go to a club for the adults where there are a lot of removing. You get what I mean? Okay. And that is when Joan sees Raven. Everyone is at the club, okay? She just looks at Raven. Raven is so interesting, so very interesting. Raven is why she's not interested in men. Look at men. Look at Raven. Oh my God. The way that Raven rolls her hips in front of Joan and then she takes off. Joan just keeps watching Raven and she thinks to herself, so this is why men are so obsessed with women's bodies, why they made so many mistakes just to get closer to one. Here, put in her bikini to tip her. It's fun. Donna yells. Joan grabs the dollar. She looks back at Raven. Raven is smiling, but there is still something to Raven, you know, her dark curls and that smile, so peaceful and dangerous at the same time. Joan slips the dollar into Raven's bikini and she feels Raven's soft skin. Girl, this is her actual awakening moment in New Orleans. Joan, for a moment after the club, forgot how to walk. Like, she looks around. It's like, okay, I need to steady myself. Also, by the way, where is Vanessa? Lydia tells her that Vanessa left after like 2 minutes in the club. So Joan tells the group that she's going back to the hotel and Griff offers to get her a cab. They start walking hand in hand until the others were out of sight and Griff takes her hand for a moment and they just look at each other. Joan looks at him and she thinks to herself, why can't I love him? Maybe I can. So she leans in for a kiss and he pulls away. And he says, I wanted to kiss you for months already, but not when you're drunk. And Joan tells him, but I want to, right now. I want to kiss you right now, and I may not want to tomorrow. Griff smiles, but his eyes were sad. Then we shouldn't kiss. Joan then grabs him by the lapel and pulls him towards her, and they kiss. He tastes like rum, and she wants to freaking gag. The roughness of his chin and the smell of his chin. Oh my God, she hates it. She pushes him away and Griff knows that she's not feeling him. And this is what has been stopping him from making a move at all these months. I'm sorry, Griff. It's just complicated. I thought it might be. I thought you might be. So Griff hails down a cab for Joan. She gets in and she apologizes one last time. Griff asks Joan not to feel sorry for him, but just give him a little bit of space and time. Before she leaves, he tells her, you look gorgeous tonight, Joan. And that night, Joan, back in the hotel, dreams of things that she had never dreamt of before. You might be wondering, what? I'm gonna tell you right now. The next morning, Joan wakes up to pounding on the door. It's Vanessa. She's pounding on her door and Joan is like panicking, like, what's happening? Because one thing, she's not wearing anything, which is weird. She always wears clothes to sleep. Secondly, her bed is filled with sketches of Raven from last night. Raven smiling at her, dancing, and without anything on. Raven's hips and her stomach. And she's like, oh my God, I don't remember drawing any of this. Again, pounding on the door. Open up, Joan. You are late for the bus. Joan runs up to the door and all Vanessa sees is messy hair, rope not fully closed, and a little bit of a V, okay? Vanessa walks into her room and Joan rushes to dump everything into her suitcase like she needs to pack and leave right now. She tells Joan that everyone was so happy to see Joan let loose. Then Vanessa helps Joan get ready. She helps her remove her makeup from last night. But Vanessa, like, this moment feels awfully intimate because Vanessa can't do the lips area. So Joan does it. When Joan is done, Vanessa nods and she looks at Joan and she tells her, "You look like yourself again." And Joan's like, "So you're saying that I did not look like myself last night?" "I don't know, Joe. I'm still trying to figure out if you know who you are." "Vanessa, do you know who I am?" "I'm hoping that I do, Joe. Only you can say for sure." Joan tells Vanessa that she kissed Griff last night. But Vanessa, no reaction, okay? All she has to say to that is that Joan looked like she had a great time at the club, but she was only there for 2 minutes. "I didn't enjoy it, kissing Griff." "No, I suspected that you would not enjoy kissing Griff. But I like the club though." Quietly, Vanessa looks away. She nods with a little smirk. "Well, I suspected that you would enjoy the club." "Did you enjoy it, Vanessa, the club? What do you think?" "I don't know. You left early. I could not tell." Vanessa keeps quiet. She does not reply. So Joan pushes. "So what are you saying, Vanessa? You say that I don't know who I am, but do you know who you are?" Vanessa laughs. It's like poking at a lion. Hello? It's like asking the lion, "Do you know you are the predator?" "Yes, Joan, I do. And you know who I am too, if you are honest with yourself." And right then, Joan knows exactly what they're talking about and that they are both flying too close to the sun. And just before they leave, Vanessa sees a piece of sketch, okay? She goes over and she grabs it while Joan is like, don't look at it. It's nothing. Please don't look at it." Joan thought that she cleared out all the sketches of Raven before allowing Vanessa into her room, but she forgot this one. But Vanessa walks over. Anyway, she grabs the sketch and she smiles. And then she says, "Oh, I do know you. I know you so well. I know you exactly, Joan Goodwin. Do you want to know who also has dark curls like Raven?" Vanessa. Following weekend, Joan is late to pick up Frances, and Frances ends up having to wait outside her house alone. Joan is shocked to see Barbara left Frances outside alone at the front porch with the main door locked. Barbara just left. She left to see her boyfriend, but Joan doesn't see anything, not yet. Okay, she just picks up Frances like nothing happened, and they go about their weekend. They go eat, they watch movies, end of day they come back. When Joan is dropping off Frances, Frances asks if she can sleep over at Joan's place instead of, sleeping at home. The sad thing is, Frances says that she doesn't really have to talk to her mom about it or ask for permission because she feels like her mom doesn't really care if she's home or not. She's more focused on the boyfriend. Okay, Frances is obviously not doing well at home and Joan is worried. Joan brings Frances into the house and Barbara greets them. Barbara asks if Joan would like to join her and Scott, her boyfriend, for dinner. Joan says no and asks Barbara for a moment alone, and that's when she confronts Barbara about leaving Frances, a 7-year-old, alone out in the porch. Barbara's excuse is that Frances is a smart girl. Plus, it's not her fault that Joan was late. Then they just look at each other until Barbara breaks the silence. "Oh, screw you, Joan. Screw you. Don't look at me like that. Like I'm a bad mother. You don't know the first thing about being someone's mother, Joan. And you certainly do not know how hard it is to do everything by yourself. Everything by yourself with no one helping. So mind your business." Joan apologizes, then she kisses Frances goodbye and she leaves. I think it's quite interesting to see Joan go from this very timid, very goody two-shoe character to letting loose, having more edge to her, but it's still not translating in her personal life, like her family life, which is completely understandable because family relations and just family politics are so deeply rooted, But Okay, anyway, on one of the camping trips for all the astronauts in training, Joan decided it would be fun to bring Francis along. So she invites Francis. Francis is super excited, okay? It's so cute when Joan arrives at their home to pick up Francis because all she sees is Barbara and Francis hand in hand. They're holding hands and Francis with her fisherman vest and her adult-sized camping backpack. She looks so small and so weighed down. Barbara doesn't know what to pack, so she packed everything. And the first thing that Francis tells Joan is that this is all too much. While that is cute, it makes Barbara worry even more. Scott, Barbara's boyfriend, is already out of their picture already, okay? I think Barbara genuinely cares for her daughter. Sometimes it just comes off as she doesn't, but she just wants a male figure in her life. Not just for herself, but for her daughter too, for Francis. She worries that without a father or a male figure in her life, that Francis might feel left behind, like camping stuff. Barbara doesn't do any of that. She can't teach Francis that. But anyway, they kiss goodbye and off Joan and Francis go to their camping adventure. While Francis is off playing with other kids of the other astronauts or astronauts in training, Joan is actively trying to avoid Vanessa. She has been trying to avoid her for weeks now, okay? Joan and Donna are setting up the tents and Joan is trying so hard to pretend that she didn't just hear Vanessa behind her. Donna's like, girl, Joan, what are you doing? You need to really shove that thing. Don't get distracted. Shove it into the sand because your tent looks like it's going to be blown over with a fart. She's that queen, okay? Donna's that queen who is capable, who is smart, who will deliver criticism with love to her friends. You are lucky, Joan, you know, that I love you and I put up with all your half-ass tent making stuff. So she helps Joan to finish and they see Lydia's tent right next to them. It falls over and Donna's like, look at her. And then Joan asks Donna to help Lydia too. Do I really have to help her? Yes. If you're not going to help her, I will, Donna. Well, Joe, look at you. You are not going to do anything. Look at your tent before I arrived. So Donna rushes ahead of Joan, but Lydia does not want any of their help. Lydia insists on doing it all by herself. And one of the butt faces in their group says, as he passes by, hey, how many chicks does it take to pitch a tent? Doesn't matter because any of you can pitch my tent. Donna and Joan are so pissed off. Donna tells him to F off. But Lydia laughs. When the butt faces walks away, Joan confronts Lydia. Why did you do that? Do what? Laugh at their stupid jokes. I hate it when you encourage them. I think maybe you just need to lighten up a bit, Joan. Donna's angry and she tells Lydia that she sounds exactly like those butt faces. Lydia, like we talked about in part 1 especially, she thinks that if we go along with their discussing jokes about women, then one day they would realize that we are just all the same and they will stop making those jokes. But Joan doesn't want to be like them. Lydia tells her, we have to be like them, Joan. We have to. That's why they are letting women into the program, because we have finally convinced them that we are as good as them. Donna, to Joan and my surprise, agrees with Lydia. Donna adds that at NASA, nobody's thinking about how women would perform, but maybe women should be given a chance to just show that they are just like men. Get it? Okay. Joan argues, still, she doesn't want to be like them. She doesn't want to be like men. Joan continues, it's 1981 and I'm done pretending that sexist jokes are funny, so men will give me a chance at something that I'm probably better than them at. Lydia counters, you just don't get it. It makes me so mad sometimes, you know? Before us, they let 6 white women, 3 black men, and 1 Asian man into the program. All the rest are all white men. I know that, Joan says, but Donna tells her what she's missing from Lydia's argument, that NASA is run by men, that if we as women want to go up there, we have to convince a man to choose us. Donna continues, we have to be somebody the men want to work with. We have to be smart. Why Donna has been sneaking around to see Hank, even though everyone knows that they're dating, is because she's here to do her job as an astronaut. She wants to be an astronaut. She's here because she's a doctor. She's here not to find a husband or to marry or to give up her position, her ER doctor license, as soon as she finds a husband. Dating Hank hurts Donna's career more than helps it. Donna must really, really love him to still want to be in this relationship. And that is when it clicks for Joan that all of them, all the women, are all on the same boat. Lydia says, "You are not just here for you, Joan. You know that, right? We are all here to succeed or fail together." Joan still argues. "And so what you're saying, that we should just let them make those jokes in front of us and we don't fight back?" Oh, so annoyed. And Lydia for once asks if Joan is mad at her. The way that Lydia asks is so innocent and childlike. It feels like Frances is asking her that question. No, Lydia, not at you, at them, the men. Although we agreed at the cause that they are making those jokes and that we are annoyed at them, we're still fighting about how we are dealing with it. You laughing and Donna asking them to fork off and me getting angry at them, you know? I'm mad at them, but I'm blaming you, you know, Lydia? Lydia then jokes, "Well, you know, as women can be very irrational at times." And this time they all laugh. And Donna can't believe it. The ice queen, the beetroot, who would undercut anybody to get a spot, just made a joke. Later that evening, Joan finds Frances asleep and one of the other astronauts' kids sleeping back. They are like hanging out, they fell asleep, and Joan's like, "You know what, just leave her here until morning." And she goes for a walk with Griff. And Griff tells her that he's okay now and he doesn't need time or space anymore. They can be normal again. And then he asks her, "Can I just say one more thing? I know it's not my place to say it, and I'm not going to pretend I know what's in your heart. I've just sensed a few things, and maybe if you have feeling for someone, if there's something that's on your mind, I'm saying, I worry that you are in a difficult position, because as wrong as I think their position is, there are some things that NASA does not officially condone for astronauts from what I've heard." Griff tells Joan she doesn't know what he's talking about, but she knows deep down. Griff tells her that no matter what, he will always have her back, and she thanks him. Joan spends the rest of the evening restless in her tent until she hears splashes in the lake just in front of her tent. So she opens her tent and she sees Vanessa skipping stone. Vanessa turns and she smiles, that big loop-sided smile. She looks at Joan and she points at the stars. "Look, Hercules, the whole sky makes sense to me now because of you, Joan." And Joan looks at Vanessa, the stars, and she thinks to herself, "Oh no, no. Let me break your heart right now. Let's go back to December 29, 1984. Vanessa alone in space. Vanessa is now inspecting the latches and what was broken in the shuttle. Okay, she's trying to quiet her mind. She doesn't want to think about Donna or Hank right now and their baby. That baby Thea may never remember being held by her father. That she may never remember her father, but her father will be someone that people tell her about. When she stops thinking about Thea, she thinks of Griff, then Lydia, then Joan. There are 32 latches and some are jammed. She needs to go through each and every one of them. Vanessa is an aeronautical engineer. If there is someone who can fix this, it would be her. 4 of the latches to the door would not close. If the door is not flat, Vanessa's going to die. Back on Earth, someone in mission control says, his temperature has fallen. We lost his heart signals again. Do not tell Ford. Even if she got to him in the next 30 seconds, I don't believe. Remember, Joan is the only voice that Vanessa can hear, and she's receiving all of these information, and she has to keep her composure, okay? And somehow it feels like Joan trying to balance all of this. She's having an out of body experience. She is up and above. She is in the roof, looking at herself, her eyes bloodshot, her hair messy. Like did she really think that Griff would survive that? He was hit with an explosion 200 miles above Earth. Then she hears it. The surgeon manning their vitals of everyone in Navigator tells the mission control that John Griffin is officially dead. 3 casualties: Hank, Steve, and Griff. Vanessa's voice breaks the silence. Vanessa has no idea. Griff just died. So Vanessa tells Joan that the door is still not flat. The latches, just some of them are jammed and broken. So they have an approximately 1 centimeter gap. Joan cannot process that right now. Houston, come in. This is Navigator. Do you read? Vanessa asks. The flight director, next to Joan, knows that Joan is not okay. He tells her, do not tell Vanessa that Griff has died. Navigator, this is Houston. We believe that you should move on given the time constraints. I disagree, Houston. I believe that I should keep on trying. Navigator, move on. We don't have time. Vanessa knows that Joan is not okay. So she asks how she's doing. But the flight director once again shakes his head, looks at Joan, and he says, our job here is not to tell Vanessa the truth. Our job here is to get her home safe. So Joan tells Vanessa that she's okay and that she should proceed fixing the other latches of the door. Vanessa does, and while doing that, she keeps thinking about Steve, and she scoffs. Like, I've been wanting this my entire life. I've been trying to fly this thing my entire life, and Steve even lobbied for me. Steve told me that I deserve to fly it someday. And then she also remembers Steve telling her that he cheated on Helena 10 years ago, and although she forgave him, he never forgave himself. Vanessa never understands either side of that, like how Helena forgave him, why he cheated, but Steve told her, eventually you will understand, because once you find someone that you loved so much for so long that you would understand anything is possible, that you would be capable of the worst thing and good things more than you knew. Vanessa tries to not think about that, and she tries to continue fixing the latches, but 8 of them just would not close. Like, she is so mad right now. She wants to take off her helmet and freaking wail, but she will die within seconds. She could scream, but the sound would not go anywhere. She tells Joan that they just would not close. Joan and everyone in mission control is uncertain, with 8 latches out, if Vanessa would survive re-entry. So they advise Vanessa to start again, to go over on the latches again. But if Vanessa does that, she's losing time to deorbit, to go back into Earth. It's going to take the next few hours. It's going to take like 10 hours from now. So Vanessa asks Joan if Griff and Lydia are going to make it if she restart again. And this time Joan cannot lie to her, so she doesn't say anything. She can't bring herself to lie to her. And Vanessa knows it's bad news. Which one of them is it, Goodwin? It's Griff. He died 17 minutes ago. Ford, we are so sorry. What Joan really, really wants to tell Vanessa is that she is more than sorry and that she is so scared of what might happen next. But instead, Vanessa asks again if Joan is okay. And Joan tells her, no, I'm not okay. I am so heartbroken. Everyone here, we are so heartbroken. But our priority here is to get you and Lydia home safe. But that's another thing they have been hiding from Vanessa. But before we find out, let's go back 3 years ago before this mission, okay? Back to history when Joan and all her friends, all her mates are officially titled astronauts. Joan, one hand holding her phone, another holding the silver pin. Okay, I think it's, silver pin. Okay, silver pin with the word ready to fly. One of the first few things that Joan does is to call Barbara and Francis to tell them that she has officially completed her training and now she's an astronaut in waiting. Okay, later in the evening, everyone heads out to the outpost for some drinks and to celebrate, and that's when everyone sees Donna kisses Hank in public for the first time. It shocks Joan, Lydia, all the girls, but at the same time, they are so happy for her. Donna is beaming, like happiness is literally filling the room because of the couple. And that is when Hank tells the group that they are getting married. But still, two astronauts in love, a love story, or a disaster in waiting. Hours later, when everyone has left, it's only Lydia, Joan, Vanessa, and Griff at the bar. Lydia opens her mouth. We did it! We actually did it! I didn't think either of you would make it, Vanessa and Joan. Listen, Vanessa, you're like a glorified mechanic. Don't get upset. Vanessa is annoyed, but she's not upset. But she continues. Lydia continues. And you, Joan, at first, I thought you were just like this little baby mouse. I thought that you were going to fail the parachute, the water survival training. But look at you. Vanessa speaks up. Lydia, I swear to God, you may be smarter than me, but you are not smarter than Joan, so drop it. I've tried to be cool with all of this, but you are really pressing on my nerves. Lydia knows that Vanessa doesn't like her. Many people didn't like her before this. Vanessa is not the first. Y'all, have you ever been the smartest kid in class? I have never. And I don't think that I'm stupid. But I definitely have never been the number one kid in school. You know what I mean? And sometimes I wonder how it feels to be in their shoes, Lydia is that girl. Lydia tells the group that she has always been very smart, number one at everything, but not many people like her and she's used to it. She just doesn't care about people as much as she cares about herself. And she doesn't even try to hide it. And she's right now telling the group this because she's like trying to make them feel better. Vanessa is shaking her head like in disbelief, like this is your comfort to us. And Griff like just wants her to stop talking, but Joan keeps listening. Listen, like what I'm really trying to say here after all of this is that I know there's something from you that I could learn from. I don't know how to do that yet, but I do see how great you all are and how I lack in some areas. Joan smiles because this proves her point that Lydia is not a bad person. When Joan and Vanessa are alone, she tells Vanessa that, see, Lydia is not a bad person. And Vanessa tells her, all I hear and see is that she is lonely. Vanessa, everyone is lonely, Joan says. No, not everybody. Are you lonely? You have Barbara and Francis. Sure. No, I know. I'm not lonely, I guess. Joan sounds so unconvincing, but she asks if Vanessa is lonely. And Vanessa doesn't know how to answer the question. So Joan says, just tell me what you're thinking right now. Joe, you do not want me to say what I'm thinking right now. I don't know about that, Vanessa. I feel like I could know you forever and still be so curious about what you're going to say next. And Vanessa leans in. She lowers her voice and she tells Joan, I thought the same thing about you the first time that I saw you. And Joan's heart goes okay. And on the drive home, Vanessa doesn't just drop her off. She asks if they can talk upstairs. And from the ride to the apartment, they did not say a word because like the moment before, it was so intimate, right? As soon as Joan shuts her apartment door, Vanessa and her are inside already. Vanessa tells her, I need you to understand something. I don't know. I have a recurring dream that it's my funeral. And I'm in my casket. And I'm alive and I'm actually completely fine. But no one sees me or hear me and they're all just crying. My mother's there and every other dream of this, the people around me are always changing, but my mother is always there. And she's always crying into a tissue. She's always talking about something I never got to do. Like I never had a family or that I never married. Do you want those things, Vanessa? Vanessa does not want any of those things. It's more about what her mother wants for her. And when she's in her dream, she just couldn't stop thinking about how little she did with her time on Earth. She tells Joan this, and Joan asks, do you think that this is about your father dying young? No, this is not about my father. What I'm really trying to say is that, Joan, you live in a world where time is on your side, but I don't live in that world. Joan, you live there alone. Do not confuse my respect for you with patience. Listen, I don't know what the hell Vanessa just said, but some things you don't need words to express because we are so confused. But Vanessa's gaze could cook an egg right now. Joan tells her, I don't have a recurring dream, but there's this a type of dream that I keep having since I was a teenager. In that dream, I am happy doing really simple things like making dinner, reading a book, or hanging a picture. It's always different, but it's always a different house. Sometimes it's my parents' old home. One time it was a mansion that I saw from a movie, but in the dream, I'm always different age, doing different things, but nothing risky, dramatic, or big happens. It's just very simple things. I'm at home, living my life, minding my business. But in all of those dreams, I'm always alone. Vanessa looks down. They're sitting so close to each other at this point that if either of them moved their pinky, they would touch each other. But Joan could not bring herself to even do that. Joan understands what Vanessa is saying. It's not about dying early. It's about waiting. When Vanessa turns to look at Joan, Vanessa's eyes are so light that they look like gold in this very moment. So complex, so rich. Vanessa's eyes reminds Joan of how her mother talks about her favorite painting, that looking at that painting rewarded her attention. And Joan feels the same right now. Vanessa's eyes rewards her attention, and she could stare into her golden eyes for hours and still never tire of all that they held. Vanessa tells Joan, I'm scared. Joan, I'm scared that I will wait forever, that it will kill me. So I'm begging you right now to please tell me that I'm wasting my time. Tell me that I'm crazy. Put me out of my misery. Joan, can you do that? I'm leaving you right now for this part 2. This is where I leave you for part 2, and the last one, part 3, will be uploaded next week. But before that drops, I've also started on our little episodes of ghost, creepy, mystery, and every other stories that cannot see light right here. First episode I think will be up after this. Okay, I will add to the playlist once it's up. In the very first episode, we're gonna talk about seeing shadows in the basement, ghouls following behind you, an imaginary, not so imaginary friend, and possibly an evil entity posing as Santa. And these are all real stories from Reddit, okay? And one creepy photo that made me almost punch my screen, and I'm not even kidding. All that will be under the Dark Library, and I will catch you there. Remember to like this video, by the way. If you're really enjoying the vibe, remember to like this video, subscribe, and comment down below what you think is gonna happen to Joan and Vanessa. I think they're like my all-time favorite couple right now.